All right. Hey guys, we are back with Echo Gaming here. Echo, welcome back from your vacation. We missed you dearly, and I'm so excited to be here with you today.
Thanks, man. I'm happy to be here too. I think we should talk about not only the update, but some of these gems, man.
Yes, yes. So on your channel, we just got done talking about the update and our sort of first impressions after the little rough start. So make sure you guys, if you haven't already, go, after this video, go check out Echo's channel and watch that video with our collab. And in this one, though, we want to talk about these new gems. So we got a 5-star, we got a 2-star, and we got a 1-star. Now, you've been on vacation, so we're going to talk about some hypothetical builds, but I've tested the 5-star just a little bit. So I wanted to sort of share my thoughts and see what you think about this. So the 5-star, if you guys aren't aware, here's the beautiful, video we got in game. But it actually it increases your critical hit based off your damage for a short amount of time. I think it's like 6 seconds and then a cooldown of 20. So you have like a 14-second downtime of, wow, that was actually good guess on my part. So it increases your critical hit for that 6 seconds, and then it can apply a burn explosion that we just saw on screen. So really, in my opinion, I tested this a little bit. I do have it. I only have the one. I got super unlucky for my rifts. Spoiler if this is a video later on
Ah,
with me running rifts, but but I did test it, and it's actually super good in both PvE and PvP. I think that this gem is really good, even if you wanted to use it as sort of like that gem trade where you can have an existing 5-star gem but activate a different one's effect at the 1-star level.
hmm,
I think there's value in using this one in that place because for farming, even it's just anytime you do damage. So it's not a percent chance like the Seeping Bile, where you have a percent chance of having it activate. Just every time you do damage for 6 seconds after that, your critical chance will go up incrementally based off whatever the rank the gem is. In this case, it's 42% because it's a rank 10 gem.
yeah,
So I think personally, my initial thoughts are this gem is fantastic for anyone and everyone. It's, in my opinion, arguably almost a must-have, similar to the BSJ or the Blood-Soaked Jade. What were your initial thoughts of this gem, Echo?
yeah. I actually had people reach out to me before it was even announced, when it was still like a leak. It was this
Nice.
information was actually out before, and it was
Yep.
correct. We didn't know it, but it was correct. And people were saying this was like a game-breaking gem because it's going to completely be a must-use and destroy all other gems in PvP. The people that I heard about it from
Mhm.
were like, they weren't happy that something so strong was coming out.
Sure.
With that being said, there's always going to be new gems that come to the game, and they can't
Agreed.
just bring crappy ones to the game. They have to bring ones that are going to
Good
people
point.
are going to want. So when you think about it, gems should just be getting better and better so that you kind of need them. The problem is when you actually need to get them and rank them up, it's not easy
Yeah.
to do. Um,
True.
with that being said, also, I didn't use my free activation. You did. The
Mhm.
free activation, we need to remember, and if you're a newer player playing the game or someone like that, keep in mind you're testing out a rank 5, no, I'm sorry, a rank 10 5 out of 5-star gem. This is the gem at its maximum
At its
potential.
best. Yep.
It's a potential you'll never achieve unless if you really spend. Like
Right.
you can't be free to play and get a rank 10.
No. Yeah.
It's most likely not
Not
going to
not in one
happen.
lifetime, at least.
Right, not in a reasonable amount of time. Maybe it'll take you a few years to get there, and then at that point, there'll probably be better gems that you'll want to use. So it's just worth kind of noting that
Mhm.
when you're testing it, it's at its best potential. And then when you get it, and if you even go to the shop, right? Like if we go over
Yep.
to the shop, and there's a deal in the shop right now, if
Mhm.
it loads, there we go. You can get one right here. But when you
Yep.
notice, it's actually a 2-star out of 5.
Mhm.
So it's not even the full 5-star potential, which doesn't change all of this stuff. It really just changes the resonance.
Right.
But it's just something to keep in mind when you're like, oh my God, I need to have that gem, because it won't really be at that level, at least when you get it. And if there are free to play players that say that they can achieve that,
Mhm.
well, then that's
We have the
awesome.
new
And then I
ones.
would love to see, that
Sure.
happen. That's a good thing.
Right.
But the gem does seem awesome. I like it. I want it myself. I look at my build. I'm like, what can I take out to put this in the
Sure.
slot of? But also, you need to remember, if you're a low spender like myself,
Mhm.
um, or even a mid spender, you kind of have to pick and choose what 5-star gems you're going to be upgrading. So I don't know.
For sure.
I don't
Yeah,
know
no,
why I
very
threw
much.
some silly gem knowledge in there. I'm not sure why I did, but I felt the
Very
need.
much a long-term investment in terms of the game time, as well as any resources financially or otherwise that you're putting into the game. Yeah, a lot goes into that 5-star gem. So yeah, definitely in my opinion, it sounds like in yours as well, definitely probably a top tier gem.
Hmm.
But if that's out of our price range, they did introduce 2 more. So again, this one sort of, at least in my opinion, I think is a gym that most people should go for, because I mentioned this on my channel a few times. I don't know how you feel about it, Echo.
Hmm.
I go for legendary gyms that are going to be good on any class. They're not tailored to a specific build. I don't have to worry about changing them all the time. Like, so much goes into leveling up a gym. I want my build to be the same in terms of legendary gyms on every class. So this one, you don't have to worry about using a teleport or anything like that. Bottled Hope sort of has that effect where you have to use a dash or a teleport or something like that.
Yep.
This one is just you do damage, and thankfully all the classes do some amount of damage. So I like that personally.
No, I like that as well. That was the problem I had when I went from Necro to the
Yes.
Crusader, is I had 2 gems that are about your spawn, and it was like
Yep.
I just sacrificed them, and I said, if I go back to Necro, I'm not going to rank these up again. We'll do other
Yeah.
stuff.
Never
So,
again.
but no, that's a great point. It's just takes so long. But you did
Mhm.
mention some other options. So how about the
Yes.
tier of the Comet, the 2-star gem? Why don't I read it out to everyone? It's a little bit more
Yeah. Go
simple.
for it.
Every second you maintain a channel skill, you launch 2 arcane missiles that deal 10% base damage plus 120 to random enemies. And then obviously, as we rank that up, it's going to do more and more damage as we go. If it starts
Mhm.
at 10% base damage, it's going to, your channel skills deal 1.5 increased damage at rank 3. It
Not
seems
bad.
seems decent. Are you using a channel build?
I'm not. And I was very critical of the tier of the comment when I first read about it. And somebody in my comment section, so shout out to the YouTube comment section, actually brought up a really good point. I was under the impression that this would only be good for like a handful of classes, and they very politely corrected me and said every single class in the game has a channeled skill. And then I thought about it, and I was like, huh, I guess you're right. So there is a place in it, but unfortunately it's not as build friendly. So no, even though I spent a lot of time on, the wizard, not
Hmm.
a lot of time on any channeling builds. Now there is a very good channeling whirlwind barb build that I've seen a lot of content creators talk about. That seems A, super super fun, but B, I mean, it would go incredibly well with this because I think it goes off your life, and like instead of having an actual channeled like time, it goes off your health. So theoretically, you just get this, arcane missile shooting nonstop with that build, and then same with the once you get to past rank 3 and more, you're getting just a percent increase of damage, which feels super valuable for a 2-star legendary gem. So my initial thought is it's very very good if you use channel builds, which is probably pretty obvious, but it's not. Those builds aren't meta for most classes. What do you
I
think?
I agree. What I really do like about this gem is there's no can occur every 20 seconds. It says
Good
every
point.
second you maintain a channel skill, you launch 2 arcane missiles. So
Yeah.
essentially, every second you're dropping 2 extra missiles that deal
Yep.
10% more base plus 120. So over that 20-second period of time where
Mhm.
another gem may only launch one thing, like Maw of the Deep, the
Yep.
beast comes from below every 20 seconds when you're
Sure.
dealing
Yep.
damage. I'm getting 20 times the activations, a lot less damage, but 20 times the amount if using a channeling skill.
Right.
But again, this
Good
brings
point.
into account, how effective or how likely are you to use a channeling build across any
Mhm.
class that you may switch to. With that being said, also it's easier to upgrade a 2-star gem than a
True.
5-star, but it's still not easy. You still need 600 and something gem power to get there. It's not the easiest thing to
Right.
do.
Now, this one is, to your point, though, a 2-star gem is relatively free to play farmable if you have the
Hmm.
rare crest. So you can get those, runes and trade them for a 2-star. So within reason, it's probably pretty free to play friendly to max it out over time. A lot faster, at least, than a whole lifetime of maxing out a, 5-star gem to rank 10. So you
100%.
got a good, yeah, you got a good point. I mean, I keep a blessed pebble in my back pocket just in case I jump to a build where like Crusader, where I want to have 100% uptime guareed. I just throw that on there. So there could be value in really anyone having this gem. And then if a build with a channeling skill becomes meta, we also have that set gear now that goes off the channeling skills. So you really could have just a like sort of relatively cheap 2-star gem maxed out that could go on almost any build if it's meta. So
True.
it's a good point.
No, I agree, and and you make a good point, and that's worth noting since I did talk about how fives are really just almost
Hmm.
impossible. 2-star gems are very free to play friendly. I actually don't really, very rarely do I buy 2-star gems. I'll most often just run my Elder Rifts, and I'll craft them with the rare crests, especially if I'm looking for like a pain clasp or something, because they're typically some of the more expensive ones. Actually, they're looking, that one's looking pretty cheap right there, coming
Wow,
up
it's
in
pretty
about
cheap when
two
you
and a half
convert.
hours. But yeah, I'll typically just craft them. If you're patient, you can get this over time, and then you just need the gem power. That's what takes
Right.
a little bit more time, is the 600 gem power. And
Now, at that point, an even easier gem to max out is this wonderfully named Misery Elixir. I'm flattered. They have an echoing shade for you, and now I have a Misery Elixir. I do feel some kind of way that yours is a 5-star and I'm only a 1-star, but
I wait a second. I believe that there's another echoing gem as well. Now that we brought it
is there
up,
more than?
the
Oh,
Exigent
there you
Echo
go.
as well.
That's right. Okay,
I
okay.
mean, it's just years of
So you
covering the
got two
game.
gems.
Every year you cover it, you get a gem.
There you go.
No, but
That's
for real,
awesome.
let's take a look at this one. The duration of your harmful effects you inflict is increased by 8%.
Hmm.
Damage you deal to enemies suffering from harmful effects is increased by 0.5% at rank 3. Oh, I said harmful effect. Did I say hateful? Whatever.
No, you're good. You're right.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Yeah, so 1-star gem. We can't expect like crazy things coming out of a 1-star. These are the easiest to upgrade, the easiest to
Hmm.
get the gem power to do, which can actually allow you to awaken your slots. But harmful effects you inflict. Now, does that include like burning and stuff like that? That's a
I
harmful
think
effect,
so.
but
I think it's generic enough where almost everything would trigger this. So, I,
right.
yeah, there could be
So
some value.
So if that would essentially mean that your burn or whatever that effect is going to last
Hmm.
8% longer.
Yep. That's my understanding. Now, I'm sure we will have someone who knows more than us will correct us if we're wrong in the comment section. So please do, and I'll pin the comment if we are wrong. But that was my initial interpretation. And then to your point right here in the bottom, damage dealt increased further for the increased duration, or I'm
Yeah.
sorry, increase the duration. So yeah, I mean, it's a decent gem for a 1-star. Again, it fits probably at this point most builds, and if not direct builds, at least supportive gems that do some amount of damage over time or harmful effect. Because yeah, I mean, I would consider damage over time a harmful effect.
Yeah, I
Definitely
would as
harming you.
well. Yeah, that I'm
And
not 100% clear on it, but I mean, if it does, like I said, it's not like I feel like with 1-star gems, I'm never like excited about throwing on a one
right.
star gem. Like it doesn't do anything cool. It just
Mhm.
but it doesn't mean that it's not effective. And
Agreed.
this very well could have a spot in someone's build. Again, it's not one that we could even sit here though and talk about for 5 minutes, to be honest.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, I mean, like I said, I keep a blessed pebble in my back pocket of my gym bag, fully maxed out, ready to go, depending on my builds. You could argue that this one has a spot in probably most builds, especially free to play friendly. So I think from that aspect, like partner this up with a blessed pebble, a berserker's eye, and you have some pretty good 1-star legendary gems that can go with almost every single class. So I think it's a good introduction to the game. I know that I have some people, family members even, that have started playing the game and are,
Oh,
would
nice.
love a 1-star legendary gem, especially that it's named after me. So, and it's on brand with the purple.
It is. I think you're a little biased about that gem because of its
I might
name.
be. I might be.
There's nothing you could say bad about it. But yeah, I think overall, we
Yeah.
got 3 nice new gems into the game, which are some big
Yeah.
options. We have one that you're saying is like almost a must-have,
Yeah.
which actually surprises me that we have 13 for sale at fair prices on the market, and then
Yep.
2 that have a place in certain metas inside of the game. So,
For sure.
good job,
It's a
Blizzard,
nice
on the
addition.
gems at least, right?
Yeah, and I'm gonna be honest. I was pretty critical of the last two, the 1-star and the 2-star, prior to them coming out. But after thinking about it more, and even in this discussion, they definitely could go in almost any build. So, yeah, good job. I agree.
This is why it's good for us to get together and talk, man. Kind of flesh
Absolutely.
things out together.
For sure. We gotta figure it out. In our old age, we're not as smart as some of these whippersnappers.
Speak for yourself.
All right, Echo. Always a pleasure, guys. Again, I'm going to put a link to Echo's channel in the description of this video. We did do a collab on his channel. So now that you've watched this one, jump over there, watch that collab where we talk about the update as a whole. Once again, Echo, thank you so much for joining, man.
Appreciate it, man. It's always a pleasure.
All right, guys. We hope to see you in a video soon.